everyone, welcome back to another episode of Homemade, and today we are going to be making our smoky sweet heat chicken wings. This recipe is so easy, you all. We're not frying the wings, we're not baking them. We're actually doing everything on top of the stove in one skillet. Again, it's so simple, so easy to make. Let's go ahead and go over our ingredients. As you can see, we do have a lot of spices in this recipe, and we're not going to be so heavy on the spices because we have so many. We really don't want anything to overpower the other, so we want them to really combine and just give us that good flavor. So we're using garlic powder. We're going to use cayenne pepper, ginger, salt, paprika, black pepper, and crushed red pepper flakes. Now, we're going to use 1/4 teaspoon of our garlic powder, cayenne pepper, ginger, and our crushed red peppers. And also we're going to use 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. Now we are going to use a full teaspoon of salt, and we're going to use a tablespoon of paprika. Now to achieve that smoky type taste, we're going to use Worcestershire sauce, and we're also going to use liquid smoke. Of these, we are going to use 1 tablespoon of each, and I've already measured everything out, including my spices. They're all here in this small bowl. Now, to get that saucy, sticky type texture, we are going to use ketchup. Yes, ketchup. And we're going to use honey. That's going to give us that sweetness, but we'll also have, again, that spice that's there. So we're only using 1 tablespoon of ketchup, and we are going to use 2 teaspoons of honey. So 1 tablespoon of ketchup and 2 teaspoons of honey. Again, this recipe is really simple. We're making everything in one skillet. It's going to take about 15 minutes, and we are going to have some of the best wings that you have ever tasted. Now, I'm only using 9 party wings for this particular recipe. If you wanted to use more, you will need to add a little more of your spices just to make sure that you're keeping that seasoning consistent with how many wings that you're using. So, without further ado, let's go ahead, go to the stove, because that's where all the magic is going to happen. When we're getting ready to start preparing our wings. So, if you'll notice, I have a skillet that has 1 cup of water in it. Once we get that rolling boil, it is time for us to insert our wings. Now, if you notice, we have not seasoned our wings. We're putting them directly into the water, and we're cooking this on medium to high heat, and we're going to let this cook covered for about 3 to 5 minutes. Now we're going to go ahead and add in our seasonings. So we're just going to sprinkle it all around. We're going to go ahead and stir these just to get our seasonings kind of mixed in really well. We're just going to put our lid back on, let those cook for a few more minutes. We're going to come back, put in our Worcestershire sauce and our liquid smoke. So our wings have been cooking in our seasonings for a few minutes. I'm just going to give them a quick stir because I don't want anything to stick. And also remember, my heat is basically on medium. So at this stage, we're going to add in our Worcestershire sauce, and we're also going to add in our liquid smoke. So that's that mixture right there. And you can smell the smokiness from the liquid smoke. So we're just going to give those a good toss. Now we're going to let this cook for a few minutes, come back, put in our ketchup and our honey, let it cook for a few more minutes, and then we will have our smoky wings. As you can see, our water and our Worcestershire sauce and liquid smoke has cooked down. Our wings are still meaty, but they are saucy. They're not dried up or anything. And we did have some pretty thick drumettes, so I wanted to make sure that they were done. So I did cook them a little while longer. Now, if you have to cook your wings a little longer, don't be afraid that they're going to stick. The only thing that you have to do is put a little more water in them and then not have your heat so high. I am going to pour in just a little more water, and that is just, again, to keep them from sticking, because once we put in that honey and that ketchup, that's going to cause an even stickier consistency. So you just want to pour in just a little bit. Stir it. I'm going to go ahead, put in my ketchup. And I'm going to put in my honey. And you're just going to toss those around. And all we're doing, honestly, guys, we're making a barbecue sauce. If you'll see, it looks just like a barbecue sauce. They are very smoky, and you can see that one is just falling apart right there. It does give you a very tender wing. I've cut my burner down. I'm going to cover this for about 3 more minutes. Let it simmer. And I'm going to come back, cut my burner off, take them off the stove, pour them into a bowl, and then we're going to taste them. So we are back, and I do apologize. My mic died on me. These are our smoky sweet heat wings. Remember, we did everything in one skillet on top of the stove. The wings are saucy. They are fall off the bone tender. You see that? Just pull apart tender. Wow. They're good. They're so good. Now, and you can taste the heat, you can taste the honey, you can taste the different flavors in there. If you want more of anything, go ahead and add it. But I will say you want to be careful with your salt. Just make sure you're not putting so much salt in there to overpower the taste. But I promise you, these wings, they are good. They are good. You have to try this recipe. And again, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share our channel if you want to keep seeing our easy homemade recipes. Remember, cooking is as hard or as complicated as you make it. So, as I always say, keep it simple, be yourself, and I promise you, life can be so much easier. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Homemade. And until next time, continue to be great.